Helo, shwmai. Dyma tutorial arall Onshape yn defnyddio y teclyn Loft yn tro 'ma. Welcome back. This is another short tutorial on Onshape using the Loft tool this time. So Loft allows us to move seamlessly from one shape to another. For instance, the example I'm going to show you here is a simple square profile changing to a round profile. So we'll start doing that, and we'll start as usual with the sketch tool. And I'm going to pick the work plane, look straight on at this right work plane, and I'm going to pick the square tool. But this time I'm going to drop down and I'm going to pick a center point rectangle because I want my center point to be a reference for my next feature. So I'm going to make this square, and I'm going to dimension it as I've done before using the dimension tool. Click, drag, and I'm going to give that a dimension of 100, and just to make this a little bit more interesting, I'm going to make that a rectangle, so I'm going to make that 75. Notice, being a center point rectangle, the center didn't move and the rectangle is centered about that center point. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That's 100 by 75 rectangle. I'm going to click the big green tick. Now then, we can see that my sketch is there. Just to clean this up a little bit, I'm going to get rid of the other work planes for now. So I'm going to get rid of this top work plane, and I'm going to get rid of this front work plane. So what I've drawn is a rectangle on the right work plane. So what I want now is a work plane above that, and we use the plane tool here. So if I click on plane and click on this work plane, and by default Onshape puts a plane in 25 millimeters above. Can you see there? There's a work plane 25 millimeters apart. But I'm actually going to make this using a dimension here, offset dimension 100. And that moves this work plane further up, and I'll just zoom out a little bit so we can see there. So I'm happy with that, a work plane above my initial work plane by 100 millimeters. Big green tick. And now I'm going to draw a new sketch on this top work plane. I drag that down to the center of the screen so we can see what we're doing. There we are, and zoom out a little bit. There we are. So I'm going to draw on this work plane, and if I look directly from above onto it, I can see the work plane below where I initially drew my rectangle. So I'm actually drawing above that. Now, and I'm going to put a circle on there, using the center point as my reference again. Drag out and give this a dimension. I'm going to dimension this 60 millimeters. So if I just swivel again, I can see now that I have two work planes, two sketches, 100 millimeters apart, one being a rectangle and one being a circle. I'm happy with that. Big green tick. And I'm going to select this Loft tool. And Loft allows us to create a body that moves seamlessly between two sketches. So I'm going to pick this bottom profile, and then I'm going to pick this circle, my second sketch. Like that. And we can see that Onshape has produced a preview that shows the rectangle moving seamlessly into a circle at the top. I can select that. I'm just going to get rid of my planes now, hide them using the eyeball as we've done in the past on the left hand side here. And there we are, that's my square to round or rectangle to round profile lofted from one to the other. I can do the same again. I can shell, take away the top, and that gives me a container, or even I could turn it around the other way and I could take away the bottom face as well. And then that would allow us to move, say, maybe from a rectangular pipe to a circular pipe, square to round feature. But I'm actually going to take that bottom face and put that back on, so delete that feature. So that's it there. I'm going to accept that. And I'm going to, like I did with the vase, I'm going to put a small fillet on these on this top face. So I've just selected the face there, and that will put a fillet on both sides of that face. Again, give it a 1mm radius and accept that. There we are. That's a very simple loft. Okay, so that's my first quick demo. If you go to my next video, I'm going to show you something a little bit more interesting to do with a loft, and it should allow us to produce a twisty pencil pot like this. Okay, thank you very much. Have a go at that first, and then watch my next video producing that spiral loft. Diolch yn fawr, rhowch gynnig arno fe, a rhannwch beth chi wedi wneud. Okay, share what you've done with me as well. Diolch.